austerity hasn't ended. Cuts are continuing. They're absolutely decimated, actually, compared to where they were in 2010. And if you look at a whole range of services, the NHS, again, it's another thing where, it's been shown, she's saying there's more, it was 370 million more a week in the NHS. That's no reflection on what's happening in the NHS. You talk to any NHS staff working at Leeds, Teaching Hospital Trust, working in primary care, there is clearly there is not enough money going into the NHS, and they have had austerity budgets, lost beds, lost staff, and to layer all of that, there are now concerns around recruitment retention because of Brexit and because of flows of staff, because our NHS and other public services, to be honest, are underpinned by people coming here with skilled people who help run our public services, and all of that's under threat. So, no, not in the slightest do I believe Theresa May in the fact that austerity will end or has ended. So I think that actually, and you just need to look actually at what's happened to tax rates. Well, the wealthiest have had some of the biggest tax cuts they've experienced in this country since the 1980s. That lack of our tax base, the shrinking of our tax base, has a devastating effect. If we then layer that on top, if we have the Chequers Agreement, if big global manufacturing companies, and Airbus has said this, cannot get their parts into the UK in time, and they have to move their production, that our tax base will further erode. So it'll get even worse. So the Theresa May plan for Brexit will not only not end austerity, it'll make it endemic, because our tax base will further erode. People lose their jobs, moving into either lower paid work or not in work at all, and this will cause a ripple effect, and that's one of our major concerns. So I think she's not only being disingenuous, she's living in a sort of fantasy world of her own making with her approach to Brexit. I've got Vincent's coming back here. Oh, quite a long one. Let's just have a read. So Vincent, he wants to ask about cycling. If I ask another, can I inquire as to what the status of increased cycling infrastructure in Leeds North West? Given myself told it's dangerous in the area, and that many are turned off by poor infrastructure. More immediately, I think the road quality must be appalling. Yeah. No, I mean, this is just another. In terms of the road surface, this is a direct result of level of cuts that have happened to the council. If you can't have the level of cuts, well over 40% of the council grant has been cut since 2010, and have the same level of repairs on the road, the same level of services, the same level of staffing, the same funding going forward to community organisations with a 40% cut. It's just not possible. Nobody can do it. You can make savings, through efficiency, which the council have done, but I don't know a private sector organisation that can make 40% efficiency savings to their base cost. It's just not possible. So, unfortunately, our road surfaces and major repairs have taken a hit because of this. Where we do see things, we can get things patched. If you've got anything, please do report them to us. Both the Headingley councillors and the new Wheatwood councillors have undertaken pothole surveys, because it is a council responsibility, which I've obviously helped them with, and they've got quite a lot of roads repaired. But if there is anything, particularly for cyclists, because I'm a cyclist as well, you've hit a particularly deep pothole. There was one here actually, just on the corner where Grove Lane meets Otley Road. And it was really dangerous because you came around the corner and there's a big pothole. And I'd like to thank Councillor Walshaw, who got it fixed. So that's that's great. So we can get those fixed. In terms of cycling infrastructure, there is a programme and there is some government funding to have segregated cycle paths. So we've had the east-west one. And now, if you go around town, they are completing at the moment the if you want to call it cycle ring road, if you like, around city centre. The next one to come on stream is north-south. I am keen that it comes through our area. I think there's a real good opportunity to drive a cycleway right up through Meanwood, which would trunk into Headingley and then trunk across to Chapel Allerton, to Roundhay, to Alwoodley, to Moortown, to Adel, to all those areas. So that's working on at the moment. That won't come in for a little while, but there is an opportunity. There will be some consultation, so there'll be an opportunity to feed on the routes and what we want to see. But I'm really keen that we do that, and I think it's an easy win in some ways, because there are ways of doing that which actually take it completely off road. And I want to engage the council on that. As a cyclist who lives sort of on the Meanwood Fire Headingley border, that's really important to me as well. So because I have that experience, it's difficult to come through down the A660. Meanwood Road is fine at the bottom end where the segregated cycleway, but not once you're sort of past the junction with I can't remember the name of the road, with Woodhouse Junction, across Chancellor Street. So there is a need for that. So I've got a Janet Cove. Got Janet Cove coming down, just expanding her. Okay, Alex, you're fab. Well, thanks, Janet. There's probably no need for that, but thanks anyway. But we don't want a massive structured about change to our local countryside, e.g. airport and train station Bramhope. So there already is an airport in Eden. The airport exists. The airport footprint isn't going up radically. They're building a new extension to the terminal, and I'm supporting that, because actually, if you're a disabled passenger coming into Leeds Bradford, it's a very poor experience, and that needs to improve. And that this new terminal, one of the drives to the new terminal extension, is for that. And also, it's not really about. It's not going to turn into Manchester or Gatwick or Heathrow or anything. That's never going to happen at Leeds Bradford. It's always going to be a regional airport. In that sense. It's not going to become an international hub airport. So, but the quality isn't as good as it should be if you're waiting for a plane, in terms of eating and drinking and that sort of thing. So that, and shops and etc. So that does need to improve, and it will bring jobs, and we do need local jobs that aren't in Leeds city centre. One of our issues in Leeds is that the majority of jobs are in the city centre of Leeds, and people have to travel to them from all around the surrounding districts, and we need to create more jobs where people live, and the airport's an opportunity to do that. In terms of the train station, we're building a train station on an existing line. So we're not building a new line, we're not taking a line right across people's fields and countryside, we're building a station on an existing line. We're looking at ways of limiting the impact in terms of new road surface, trying to look, we're within the meeting the other day, we're looking at just opening up some opportunities around where the airport car parks are for access. We're looking at innovative ways of moving people from the train station to the airport. And I also think that the train station, what the train station will do is that people who are commuting into Leeds, or even further than Leeds, who live in Wharfdale or even further north, won't drive through all our really congested roads, particularly, once you get to sort of Holt Park to town, it's quite congested. If we can get people to get out of their cars further up and onto the train, that will improve our congestion, improve our air quality, all of those things. I understand that there'll be some minor disruption for people who live nearby, but what are the alternatives? People said, why don't we build an underground, Alex? Well, an underground's £1 billion per mile. And also, I was in Athens years ago when they were building their underground, before the Olympics. It was the most disruptive thing that I've ever seen. They aren't just underground, it is disruptive above ground. If unless we're going to ban people from travelling around Leeds, then there is going to be some disruption, I'm afraid. So if somebody's got a much better solution that we can do more cheaply, then I'm pleased to hear it. But this is the most cost-effective solution that we can do in this short period of time we have, and it doesn't stop us doing other things later on. Actually, this is the least disruptive solution that we could possibly bring forward at this point. Okay, so that's another one from Vincent. Okay, that's great. sure what time we're on 12:30, so we're probably nearly at the point actually for winding up. So maybe just say that this is the last day of recess. I've just done some surgeries. I've got some more surgeries later on, and tomorrow I'm at my supermarket surgeries. On Tuesday, Parliament starts sitting again. I'm back down Monday to go to prepare for Parliament, because I've not been there for a little while. We've got quite a lot of legislation coming up. So the agriculture bill's coming down next week. I will be trying to speak on that. So I think there's a number of things, not just because we have got quite a lot of agriculture in the constituency and nearby, but because of the effects it could have potentially on our environment, on our water, on our air. And I want to make sure that voice is heard. And we're going to have a whole range of bills relating to Brexit coming down the road between now and Christmas. Some of that will depend on whether Theresa May gets a deal or not. But even so, we've got an environment protection bill because we're out of the jurisdiction of the European jurisdiction in terms of environment, and our environment protection regime won't work. So there's a bill, and I'll be taking very close scrutiny of that bill in my role on the Environment and Audit Committee. And more generally, and we'll have other Brexit-related legislation. I don't think we'll have much that isn't Brexit-related, to be honest, between now and Christmas, but I'll update you on that at the next Ask Alex, and thanks for tuning in, and see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.